Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a gunner farm with the cages and your settlements. So I'll just show you what I did. So as you can see, I have this structure here. Your base is going to be 4 wide, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long. So it's 4 by 6. So I built mine on Spectacle Island here, as you can see. And the reason I did this is because there's a lot of room, and I built it over water. So right now you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels. I'm about to put an 8th level on here, and you can only make them this tall if it is over water, or else they will die to fall damage. So basically what happens is when you turn it on, they all just fall into the water. And then what I do is I use a fat man and I just blow them all up at once. This is also on vanilla. There are no mods at all, no creations. The only creations on here are the ones they put in on the next gen update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build my final level here to show you exactly how to place these. So first I'm going to start by putting up my walls. So I'm using the concrete kit here, and I'm just going to put all these around the edges, and I'll be back when I'm done. All right, so I got my walls all up. The next thing I'm going to do, this is only temporary. I'm going to put some floors in the middle here just so I don't fall off. All right, I got my floors in. So the next thing to do is go all the way to the end here. Go to the cages, medium cages, gunner. So the way I do this is I do 4 by 2, 2 on the ends, and then 4 on either side. So what I do is I start off at the corners, and I put them as close to the edge of the floor as I can, so there's nothing for them to stand on when they come out. And then I put them as close together as I can, and I'll show you right now. All right, I got the cages built. One thing you do need to do, you need to build from right to left. Because if you build from right to left, you can put them very close together. For some reason, if you do left to right, you cannot get them nearly as close. I do have these gaps in the corners, and I will take care of those in a minute. But first, I'm going to put a roof on this. Actually, first, I'm going to link them all up and then put a roof. Okay, I got the roofs on. This is the final level, as I said. because if you can see that floating floor, that is the build limit for this map. And I want to have a place to walk around, so this will be the final level of my cages. So now I'm going to show you how to connect them to the rest. Alright, so you want to remove this first floor, and then you're going to want to get a power conduit and just place it on the floor right here. So what you want to do is you want to link the power conduit to this cage on the corner. And I'm going to show you how to do a glitch. Now this is the glitch that lets you connect power lines through any object. That's how we're going to connect these two. Because obviously you can't just go from the floor. You can't go through the floor. So the way this glitch works is you want to have the wire highlighted, but if you can see the dot in the middle of the screen, you want that on the cage. So if you do this and then you hit spacebar on the PC, it'll connect to the gunner cage, and then you can connect it to the one under it. So that's how that glitch works, and that lets you connect wires through any object. And I like to back out after doing it because it can get a little buggy. So I'm just going to store this. So now I need to connect this one to the rest of my power, so I'm going to go back up. So you only need a small generator because these only require power. They don't have a power. They don't require a certain amount of power. They just need a connection like lights. So I'm going to build another conduit to connect to my power switch. So the generator to a switch. So now again, to connect this with the rest of it, I'm once again going to do the wire glitch. And you can see there more clearly how it just goes right through the floor. So now these should be all connected. So I'm going to go turn my generator on and make sure. Okay, so you can see that this one is now green. The rest of them this level are green. And the ones below it are green. That means every single gunner cage is now connected to the power. Alright, so if you notice on these corners, there are openings. And I don't really think this is necessary, but I like to do it just to give it a more clean look. And, you know, you can't have a weapon or something go flying up and get stuck in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut these off. So what I do is I go into furniture, containers, and I get this cabinet. And 2 of them I'm going to put sideways, and then 2 of them I'm going to put long ways. So I'm just going to put these in here just to block these entrances off here. Alright, and that's all blocked off. So now I'm just going to remove this flooring. Okay, so what you do is you just leave the power on. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off and I'm just going to quest. And then after a while, I'm just going to come back here. And all these cages will be closed. You can see the doors are open now. But when I come back, all the doors will be closed and every single one will have a gunner. And then what you do is I'm just going to flip the switch. And then what happens is all the doors open and then they all fall into the water. And so they don't take fall damage because they're in the water. And also because they're in the water, they can't shoot back at you. So they're basically all just going to be swimming there. And the water current kind of pushes them into this corner here. So when I get back and they're all filled up, I'll get my Fat Man out and I will show you what I do. Alright guys, we are back. And as you can see, All of the cages are filled with gunners. You can see the doors are closed and they are banging and trying to get out. So now we're about to open these and we'll show you how to make a bunch of money and get a bunch of experience. So there's two reasons that people do this. One is to either get the gear off the gunners, which is why I'm doing it. I'm trying to farm a bunch of heavy combat armor for my settlers, or you can get a bunch of XP for doing this. So this is going to involve, if you're doing it for XP, there's going to be a couple steps here. So the first one is you want to sleep for at least 8 hours to get the well-rested buff. That's going to give you 10% XP. Another thing I have a base 11 intelligence, so the higher your intelligence, the better off you'll be. I also have 2 pieces of sharp legendary gear, which boosts my intelligence more, but I'm not going to equip that yet. I'm going to equip that after my next step. And then I have berry mentats, which is another 5 intelligence. Another thing you need, if you go in your specials, or in your perks, you want rank 3 of Idiot Savant for this third one. So basically when this procs, it's going to make you get 3 times XP for all kills for 60 seconds, I believe. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go into build mode, and I'm going to build metal shelves until I get this to proc, Idiot Savant to proc. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my intellect gear, pop a berry mentats, and then basically just shoot the gunners with a fat man. And if we look to see what level, I'm level 110, about a third of the way through. So we'll see how many levels I get out of this. So just build shelves until it procs. It procs, and I'm going to quit my gear.
Last mistake.
And then I'm just going to blast them with a crit. Sometimes it does take too many nukes. So that's all gunners dead. As you can see that I'm hidden now. Sometimes it takes 1 mini nuke, sometimes it takes 2, depending how spread apart they are. So I was level 110. Let's see what I am now. I'm now level 118. So as you can see, I almost got exactly 8 levels for that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump down and loot all this gear and see what we get. Alright, as you can see, I took no fall damage. I'll be back after I loot all this. Alright guys, I have looted all the bodies, and now I'm working my way back up. Now the only annoying part about this is you have to individually repair each one, and it costs 1 steel, 50 bottle caps, and 1 copper. So what I do is I start at the bottom and just start building platforms and stairs all the way to the top, repairing as I go. Alright guys, I have repaired all of them, so I'm just going to flip this switch to power them back on so they can be capturing more gunners. So let's see what we got from that. Alright, so as you can see, everything here we got. So 22 combat armor chest pieces, and I'm just going to scroll down. This is everything we got from those gunners. And right here is the heavy combat armor that I'm doing it for. So it was a pretty good haul. And then for weapons, these are the weapons we got. And then obviously, except for the 308 and the 10 mil and the 1 mini nuke, all of this came off the gunners as well. So what you can do is you can also set up stores here like I have. I did have settlers at all these stores, but I sent them to another settlement for reasons. But each one's level 3, and I have invested 500 caps into them all. So what you should do is have settlers at all these stores so you can sell all that gear I just got. It makes you a lot of caps. So each row of this has 12 gunner cages. That's 6,000 caps. So it's 6,000 caps per level. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 8 levels here. So 8 times 12. That's how many cages there are. And so what I'll do now is I'll go to a vendor real quick just to see how many caps we actually made. All right, so I popped down here to the castle. Talk to Ronnie. So as you can see, on that one run, we made almost 22,000 caps. You could increase that farther by using things like Great Mentats. I also don't have any of the magazines that increase your caps for vendors. The only thing I have is the cap collector perk. So for that one round of gunner cages, it was 22,000 caps and 8 levels. And again, this is completely vanilla. There's no mods. And yeah, that's basically my gunner farm. Thanks for watching.